Today on the pod, we have the famous Morgan, who has a podcast. So guys, go check out her podcast. This is the mic. So today we are going to be answering some questions. Morgan, what is your first question?
How did you get started with your career and doing all of your marketing, I guess, on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that?
That is a great question. So first way to start is just by starting. You're already doing it. You are doing how I got started, right? So it's just by doing one day at a time and consistency. You're gonna have you posting a podcast and be like, 2 people listened. But if you keep posting those cute little episodes and posting about the tea and showing your beautiful personality on there, you'll watch. And a year from now, all of a sudden you have 1 million subscribers because you were consistent. So the key is consistency. And I started my Instagram back when I was fresh out of college, and I was dating a boy, always a boy, who his sisters were famous. And so I got into the Instagram game that way, but I bought followers. Never do it. Never buy followers. Never do it. You will blacklist yourself and you ruin your whole Instagram career. So I did that. And then I had to pay for it, so I had to restart an entirely new Instagram, and I didn't actually restart it until this last year, and in 6 months I got 150,000 followers in 6 months. So consistency is everything. It's all about finding your voice, finding your passion, your purpose, what you exist on this earth for, right? What gets you excited in the morning? Why are you really on there telling this podcast stories? Do you want other girls to be able to resonate with you and like they can be alive and they can also share these stories? Because once you get that and you push that out there, there's other girls that want to hear that stuff. Yeah. So do you have any other questions?
I'm trying to think. What's it like living in LA?
That's terrible. No, the weather is amazing. It's nice to have the ocean right there. It's nice to have Hollywood right there. The food is great. But the people are questionable. There's always good people, no matter where you go. But LA people do, in the rest of the country, in the rest of the world rather, have a tendency to look at LA and be like, it's probably amazing and perfect, and everyone is. Who did we have just yesterday be like, yes, our nail tech today was saying that her daughter wants to go to school and college because the boys are nicer there, and I laughed out loud. Because it's an industry world, right? So there's a lot of people that all think that they're the hottest thing from their small town, that they all come together and sit there and they all think they're the hottest things, and it's like, no one is, and now we're all, anyways. There's lovely people everywhere, but definitely do know that it's not better than other states. There's just more money, more problems. Do you have any other questions? No. Who's next? Yay! Any other questions? Here's the mic.
Oh, so how often do you film and in what quantities? Because I feel like every time I open Instagram, there's always a Chelsea post.
That's a good question. I'm kind of crazy. I film a little too much, to be honest with you. So it is definitely about quality over quantity with most things. But I learned from someone who is a big TikTok guy, and he was posting 8 times a day on his TikTok. So I was like, well, what if I did that on Instagram? And I tried it and it worked. So for that reason, I am constantly posting. I try to post 8 times a day on Instagram. But it is about your niche. So you don't want to put out anything. You don't want to just you throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks. You find one video that does well, and then it's better to do a bunch of those and do them well than to just post a bunch of stuff, because then what happens is you mess up the algorithm. So you need to teach the algorithm whatever it is. So if you want to do all dance videos, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So but you should post about, I would say, at least once a day.
My other question was actually kind of related to that. How did you find a niche and not a personality on social media, but topic that you wanted to post about?
Yeah, no, that is a really good question. Because my passions and talents are kind of all over the place, it did take a minute. And I had a lot of people be to me like a lane. And I was like, I don't want to. I like all of the lanes. I like all of the colors. So to be honest, I haven't fully ever still picked, but I found one that worked the best, which was love and dating. And I did polls on Instagram. So you post a bunch of stuff. At the beginning, you do throw spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks. But then once something hits, once you get that first video that goes viral, whether it's 10,000 or whatever, you see this is what my audience likes, then you make sure to post a lot more of those. And then you can still trickle in the other little things that you like, because you don't want to pigeonhole yourself too much. So I put out a bunch of polls and I was like, do you guys want to see more fitness or more theater or more social media stuff or more love? And 9 times out of 10, they were like, love dating. So I pushed that harder. Okay. Any other questions?
That's it.
No, things are going up. Anybody else?
Sorry.
Can I put the camera on you? Yeah. Go ahead.
When you were a kid, did you ever dream of being what you are now?
That's a great question. So, funny enough, God works in funny ways. When I was little, I wanted to be a singer. And I remember going out we had a big yard, and I would swing on the swing and make up music videos in my mind. That's what I did for fun. And back when we were filming on a camera phone, and we would make up little music videos with my friends. That's what we did for fun. And then when I was in elementary school, we started writing lyrics. But then I was like, I can't sing. I don't have a good voice. I can't hit them notes. I can't move like Kristen. Well, I'm not Britney Spears. That will be very embarrassing. I can't do that. So I moved away from it. And that goes to show that never say I can't, ever, ever, ever. Because whatever you want to do, you can absolutely do it, especially these days with social media and with the capacity to you have all the tools, you have the internet, you can learn and dive into whatever it is and learn how to make money off of really whatever you want to, as long as you just focus on that thing. So I moved away from it and went into theater and was doing acting and didn't touch singing for a long time. And then because I went through a breakup, again, I started writing music, and that's how it flew back into my life. And then I was like, you know what? I can hold a tune sometimes. I'm gonna try this. And I just kept doing it. So whatever it is, do it. Any other questions? I might need to raise the thing though. I'm so short.
How do you deal with haters?
Oh, this is a good one. Very poorly. This is funny. No, I should actually do a full YouTube video on this one, because I get some big fat meanies. Sorry, dudes, but you guys can be jerks sometimes. I get some really bad ones on my Instagram because. So I have 2 Instagrams. Chelsko Nelly is for the girls. So go on, head over there, spam me, please. But then I have Chelsko Lifestyle, which is a lot more male-targeted content, which isn't what I set out to do, but I realized that in today's day and age, there's not a lot of places for guys to talk about their feelings. So, and they have feelings too, as it turns out. So, but I get some really nasty stuff over there sometimes. So to be honest, I don't, most of the time, if I ever don't respond to a comment, it's not because I didn't want to, it's because I literally will not look at the comments sometimes. But thankfully, every once in a while, the positive ones, somehow I feel like Jesus just pushes them a little further, and so I'll see them, but sometimes I just won't look at the comments at all. And then sometimes I'll ChatGPT it, because I know what I want to say, but that will not fly. So I'm gonna, so I'll go into ChatGPT and be like, tell them, oh, you asshole, but say it in a diplomatic way. And then they're like, respectfully. And I'm like, I guess that's better. So I use ChatGPT. It saves my butt. Any other questions?
How do you deal with creepy people that are
Another good one. There's a lot of block. We do a lot of blocking. Don't be afraid to just block, run, shout it out. If there's any weirdos, any guy ever making you feel uncomfortable, make sure you always have something on you too, like bells, whistles, all the things, taser at all times. But on the internet, it's hard to hide from all of them. So especially in the comments, again, I just sometimes don't read them. When I get a real weirdo, I just block it and try to block it out of my mind as well. Protect your energy at all costs, because that's the most important thing. And they're just 9 times out of 10, they are lonely, they're bored, and they're just wanting a reaction. So when you give them a reaction, you're giving them what they want. If you just delete, leave it alone, you win. Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
Thanks for coming up.
I deal with the mental challenges of
Content.
That's a good one.
How do you deal with the mental challenges of being an influencer?
So, for when I started out, and I especially, you guys can totally relate to this because of being in dance, right? Eating disorder. I had an eating disorder when I was younger, growing up in LA. You're never good enough, you're never hot enough, you're never pretty enough. I was filtering, I was not even realistic. You look back at these pictures and I was like so edited. I just made it so I had no guts. There was no room at all for guts in some of these photos. So I started out doing that and realizing that was not, like there's a bar that's unreachable. And something kind of shifted in me where I just stopped. I realized my worth is in God, but it's been a daily practice, and it's going to be a daily practice as a woman, right, in the society that always wants you to be different, wants you to be more, wants you to A, B, and C. So for me, that's partially what I teach. I teach breath work, and we do journaling, and we do meditating. So it is so important, you guys, how you talk to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. That whole hot girl thing, do that all the time until you believe it. And one thing I do too, and I've practiced, and I teach my clients this, when you have a negative thought coming into your mind, so say I'm stupid, and so I'm driving and I hear myself say to myself, I'm stupid. I will vocally, I will shout it. I'm not even kidding you right now. I will be like, you're so freaking smart. You are the smartest thing. And then you're cracking yourself up and you really do start to believe it because your body will receive what you put out there. So, because we're made up of energy, right? So if you're constantly putting those positive thoughts into your mind and writing them down too, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am capable, all of my dreams are possible, I can do whatever I want. Write that stuff out, say it out repeatedly. And then now I'm at the point where with social media, those voices just don't matter. I have Kristen out here hyping me up all day. That's the only voice that matters to me. Well, I don't care what these weirdos, I don't care what mean people on the internet say. If someone nice says something, I'm right. You right. But you have your solid girlfriends that are your foundation. And that self-talk is a deal breaker. Yeah. Thanks.
Do you have any questions for the dancers?
This is a tough one. We're gonna have to go around. Why do you dance?
I dance because I can escape from reality by dancing, and dancing just makes my mind focus on dancing instead of other things, and I can escape to dance to feel better.
Yes, my turn. So I just didn't know what to do at the beginning because apparently when I was younger, I used to say I always wanted to just be on stage. And my mom worked with me to find things that would make me like being on stage because just doing certain things on stage, I was not the biggest fan of acting on stage alone and stuff. So we tried dancing and I immediately fell in love with it. And also half my friends do dance with me or dance somehow. So I made a lot of relationships and that's what keeps me in dance. So starting dance was one thing, but then even though sometimes I'd didn't want to go, I had these people and I was I want to go for the people I don't see every day because I don't see some of these people every day. I see some people every day. I go to school with some of these people, but these people. Yes.
Shout out people.
Oh no.
They don't have to answer her.
You just pass it along.
Well, this might be a boring answer, but I guess I started 3-4 years old. My parents put me in, and it just stuck. I really liked it. All my friends do it. I get to see them, and yeah.
Well, to be honest, when I was young, I didn't really like dance. But then once I got older, I was like, I actually love this. It was like an escape. Like Emily said, it was very nice to just express my feelings.
So actually, I wasn't really meant to do dance. These classes were supposed to be a birthday present from my aunt. And I was only supposed to take a couple classes, but when I got home after a couple classes, I was always saying how I loved dancing and how I loved being with my friends. And my mom put me in more and more classes, and it just went from there. And I love dance because I feel confident and I feel like myself. So
Hi. So I actually started dance when I was 3, but I lived in Alabama. So yeah, I moved here when I was in 2nd grade, and I was lost because like, should I go to another dance studio? Because I was leaving a place that I was used to. I was really sad, by the way. I was crying every night. And I came here, and all of my friends in the smaller class, I remember that. They were all like really welcoming, and I made a lot of fast friends there, and I made connections before I went to elementary school. So I stuck with it from there, and I've been doing it ever since. So.
Well, I can't really ever remember loving dance until 5th grade or so, but according to my mom, there was this one time when I was really little, and I told her that I wanted to quit. And then she took my temperature, and I had like 104 temperature. So apparently it's always been a thing for me. But in 5th grade, we did Sleeping Beauty. And I don't know what it was, like just seeing the older girls dancing, and it made me feel like, oh my God, I want to be that. And I guess ever since then it's just stuck. And if I did not have dance, catch me in the mental hospital. It would go so wrong. If I'm having a bad day, or I'll come here and I'll go back home and I'll be like, it wasn't so bad after all because I went to class. And then the dance gives me so many connections too. Half my friends are dance people, and outside of studio and everything too. I know people all over the country, all over the world. I have so many friends in the Philippines just from intensives and summer things and stuff. And it's just, everyone's so nice. So I love it.
Well, I've been doing it since I was really young, but like I was always kind of like, I don't know if I always wanted to, but like as I got older, it could be like something to get away from, because I always feel like nothing's ever good in my life. So I just feel like it's something that I can like about being here. Yeah. Either like writing or being here is like, it's like still good.
So when my sister was 3 years old, this is the sport that she chose for both of us. We were either going to do soccer or dance, and she chose dance, so I came here too. And I have been dancing my whole life. I know nothing other than dance, but close to when my sister was about to graduate, probably like junior year, dance just got like, it's so mentally draining to be a dancer, but it also just brings you so much joy. So it's like this love-hate relationship that you're trying to fight, but you always want to stay with it. And it was like, her and I were always like in conversations like, we need to stay, we love to dance. And that was always just like a part of me that was like kind of like, do I love it or do I hate it? But then like I remember coming to this class and the relationship that we all have when we come to this class, and how much I love it, and how it's an art and you get to express yourself, and it's just a place to let loose. And I think that that's something that I really enjoy, because it's another creative outlet to just let me be myself around people that I'm comfortable with. And our dance teachers, and Miss Kristen, and they really help with that too. And they provide us with an outlet to just, like I said, express myself and just have fun. But we also get to put on amazing shows, and they showcase our talent. And being in this school particularly, when you watch other people dance and stuff, you're like, wow, even though they're hard on us, we're really good. So that's what I love about dancing, is my outlet, my friends, and our community and stuff like that.
Facts.
I'll pay you later, Morgan.
I really enjoy dance because when I was growing up, my sister did dance, and I've always looked up to her, and I started because of her, and now it's just grown to be a really big passion of mine, and also an escape for me too, because there's so many things, especially as a teenager and a teenage girl, that's going on in your life, but coming here, it just blocks all that out. It's just a space where we can just dance and just have fun and not worry about schoolwork or anything like that, and I feel like that's really important to have. And also just like the relationships that I've made with everyone, and like being friends with everyone, and seeing how everyone grows from being younger and then they grow into this really fantastic dancer. Just like, I think it's really awesome to see that.
So my parents chose for me to start dancing because they didn't want me to play soccer. My dad used to be a coach, and he didn't want to coach anymore, so I was put into dance. And I was always really shy, and I was always afraid to talk to people. I've danced with some of these girls since I was like 2, and I didn't have a full conversation with them until I was 13. I was always really nervous and afraid to talk to them, so I was afraid they wouldn't like me. But when I was at dance, everything was different. I didn't have to talk. I could just dance, I could move and express myself, and it wouldn't matter. And then now that obviously I'm best friends with everyone now, it's even better because I have all my friends here, and I can actually express myself while doing dance, so it's like double expressing myself, so it feels like a home now.
So I know it might be kind of simple, but dance is honestly just what makes me happy. And I've built like a community, and like it might not have been the case when I was younger. I've just fell in love with the studio and all of my best friends, and I've just built such a community through performing and meeting people from all these other studios, and honestly some of my best friends. And I think it's just really important because we work so hard in the studio, and like everyone necessarily sees that. And performing is just an outlet to show how hard we really work and how dedicated we are.
Not a thing.
Also, especially on stage, there's nothing, and in rehearsal, there's nothing like feeling of doing choreography and stuff, especially like corps de ballet work. There's nothing like it. And Swan Lake, just, oh my God, like it's just so like, 15? It was like very mature kind of for me, but like just like overwhelming and also sadness, and I started crying in rehearsal once. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I started crying and then escalated into hyperventilating, and then I went to the bathroom and threw up. But I swear to God, that was out of like just like joining me, like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And then I started crying, and then it just got worse from there because I was also dancing at the same time and I couldn't breathe. But it's such like feels so like beautiful. Like it makes me so like, God, like it makes me so happy and so like something I can truly feel proud of, and I love that. So
it's kind of simple. I didn't like dancing until I was in like 4th grade because I moved here in 4th grade, and I used to do gymnastics, and I really liked gymnastics, but I didn't have the option to do gymnastics here because there wasn't really anything around. I was like, I really like moving my body in like a way where I can do stuff like that. So I joined dance, and I was like, I actually really like this a lot more because I can express myself better, because in gymnastics I had to be like all the time. And, like I tried cheerleading, I had to be straight all the time. Like I like being like just letting myself be me instead of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what we've learned today is find something that you're passionate about, find an art form, pick up something that isn't alcohol and drugs. You know what I mean? Dive into a community, or is maybe artistic, maybe not, maybe a sport if you're a boy. If you're a boy, you can also dance, just so you know. Grandpa did ballet. Anyway, so find something to dive into. Yeah, need partners. Little boys, okay. Find something to dive into because you'll get community, you get outlet, you get so many beautiful things. Thank you for watching. Group hug! Yay! Wait, you're like... Woo!
Post that on the gram.
Ciao.